Before there was anything, before stars twinkled in the night sky, before oceans lapped at shores, before even time itself began, there was only silence, a vast emptiness, an infinite void waiting for something extraordinary to happen. And then it did. From within this nothingness emerged one of humanity's most profound creation myths, the cosmic egg theory. This ancient belief suggests that everything we know, the universe, life, existence itself, was born from a single primordial egg. Imagine it now, a glowing golden orb suspended in the eternal darkness, pulsating with potential energy. Then, with a soft crack, the shell splits open, releasing light, matter, and all the building blocks of reality. The cosmic egg theory appears across many cultures, each adding its unique twist to this universal symbol of creation. In ancient Egypt, they believed that the god Atum arose from this cosmic egg, bringing order to chaos. He emerged as the first spark of consciousness, creating the sun, the earth, and all living beings. To the Egyptians, the egg wasn't just a vessel. It was a promise of renewal, much like the rising sun after every dark night. In Hindu mythology, the concept takes on another beautiful form. They call it Hiranyagarbha, or the golden womb. According to their sacred text, Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, was born from this luminous egg. Floating in the endless ocean of nothingness, the egg contained not just Brahma, but the seeds of all existence. Its hatching marked the beginning of time, space, and consciousness, a moment so sacred that it continues to inspire reverence thousands of years later. And in Chinese folklore, the story of Pangu offers yet another version of this timeless myth. Pangu, the first being, slept inside the cosmic egg for 18,000 years. When he finally awoke, he stretched his arms and legs, splitting the egg apart. The lighter parts rose to become heaven, while the heavier fragments sank to form the earth. For centuries afterward, Pangu stood tall between these two realms, ensuring their separation until the world could take shape on its own. What's remarkable about the cosmic egg theory isn't just its poetic imagery. It's the way it transcends cultural boundaries. Across continents and millennia, civilizations independently arrived at the same conclusion, that life begins with an egg. Perhaps it's because eggs are inherently magical. They hold the mystery of transformation, the promise of new beginnings, and the wonder of unseen possibilities. As you listen to this story, allow yourself to feel the weightlessness of floating within that cosmic egg. Feel the warmth of its golden glow surrounding you, protecting you. Imagine the gentle cracking sound, the first whisper of creation echoing through the void. Let it carry you deeper into relaxation, closer to restful slumber. In the next segment, we'll explore another fascinating belief, the idea of a colossal turtle carrying our world upon its back. But for now, let the image of the cosmic egg linger in your mind. Drift away, cradled by the rhythm of creation itself. Now, let us journey from the heavens above to the ground beneath our feet, or rather, what ancient people believed was beneath their feet. Picture this: Earth, our entire planet, resting gently on the shell of a colossal turtle swimming through endless cosmic waters. This belief, often referred to as the world turtle, appears in many indigenous traditions, including those of Native American tribes, Hindu cosmology, and even some East Asian folklore. In these stories, the turtle isn't just an ordinary creature. It's a symbol of resilience, stability, and strength. Imagine it now: slow, deliberate movements gliding silently through the infinite expanse of space, carrying not just Earth, but all existence upon its sturdy back. To ancient minds, the turtle became a fitting metaphor for life itself, enduring, unshakable, and timeless. One of the most well-known versions of this myth comes from Hindu mythology, where the world rests on the backs of 4 elephants, who themselves stand atop a massive turtle named Kurma. Kurma plays a central role in one of the great epics of Hinduism, the churning of the ocean of milk. In this story, the gods and demons work together to churn the primordial sea using Mount Mandara as a rod, and the serpent Vasaki as a rope. But the mountain begins to sink into the ocean until Vishnu incarnates as Kurma, the giant turtle, to support it and stabilize the process. For Native American peoples, particularly among certain indigenous groups like the Lenape or Iroquois, the turtle holds similar significance. Their creation stories tell of how Sky Woman fell from the heavens onto a watery void. Animals dove deep into the waters to retrieve soil, which they placed on the back of a great turtle. As Sky Woman danced upon its shell, the land grew and formed what we now know as Turtle Island, a name still used by many indigenous communities today to refer to North America. In Chinese mythology, too, the turtle plays a vital role in holding up the cosmos. Legends speak of a divine turtle called Ao, whose massive body supports the pillars that separate heaven and earth. Some tales even describe Ao's shell as inscribed with magical symbols representing the secrets of the universe, a reminder of the wisdom and balance embodied by this sacred creature. Why turtles? Perhaps because these animals are so deeply connected to both water and land. They live long lives, endure harsh conditions, and seem almost eternal compared to humans. To ancient cultures seeking answers in the natural world, the turtle represented harmony between opposing forces: earth and sky, stability and movement, permanence and change. Imagine standing beside this cosmic turtle, feeling the steady rhythm of its heartbeat echoing through the universe. Its slow, deliberate pace mirrors the cycles of nature, the rising and setting of the sun, the turning of seasons, the ebb and flow of tides. There's something profoundly calming about such an image, isn't there? Some versions of the myth take this idea even further. Have you ever heard the phrase, "turtles all the way down"? It humorously references the notion that beneath the first turtle lies another, and beneath that one yet another, stretching infinitely downward. While meant partly as a playful paradox, this concept underscores humanity's fascination with infinity and the mysteries of existence. As you listen to this story, allow yourself to feel grounded, cradled safely within the embrace of the world turtle. Let its steadfast presence remind you that no matter how chaotic life may seem, there is always a foundation beneath us, quietly holding everything together. And now, let's move forward to explore another extraordinary belief. The Norse tree of life, Yggdrasil, which connects all realms of existence. But for now, rest here under the protective shell of the cosmic turtle, drifting deeper into relaxation. Now, let us journey to the frosty realms of Scandinavia, where the ancient Norse people envisioned a universe unlike any other. Their cosmos wasn't shaped by stars or planets alone, but was instead held together by an immense sacred tree known as Yggdrasil, often called the World Tree. Yggdrasil wasn't just part of their mythology, it was the very structure of existence itself. Imagine this, a towering ash tree so vast that its roots stretch into the deepest underworlds. Its trunk rises through the realm of humans, and its branches extend far beyond into the heavens. This tree doesn't merely exist, it connects everything. Every leaf, every branch, every root is a pathway between 9 distinct realms, each with its own mysteries and inhabitants. In Norse mythology, Yggdrasil serves as the axis mundi, the center of the universe. Its 3 great roots delve into different wells, each holding profound significance. One root descends into Niflheim, the icy land of mist and primordial cold, where the well of Vergelmir lies. Another reaches Jotunheim, the home of giants, touching the well of Mimir, whose waters grant wisdom to those who drink from it. And the third stretches to Asgard, the realm of the gods, where the Norns, beings akin to fates, reside at the Well of Urd. The Norns are particularly important because they weave the threads of destiny. Beneath Yggdrasil's shade, they carve runes into the tree's bark, dictating the lives of gods, mortals, and creatures alike. They water the tree daily from the Well of Urd, ensuring its vitality and the balance of all realms. Without their care, Yggdrasil, and by extension, the entire cosmos, would wither and collapse. But Yggdrasil isn't just a passive structure. It's alive, pulsing with energy, and teeming with life. Its branches cradle the realms of light elves, dark elves, and even humanity's Midgard. At its peak sits Asgard, home to Odin, Thor, and the other Aesir gods. Down below, beneath its shadowy roots, lurks Svartalfheim, the domain of dwarves, and Helheim, the bleak afterlife ruled by the goddess Hel. And yet, despite its grandeur, Yggdrasil is not invincible. It faces constant threats from the gnawing teeth of Nidhogg, a serpent-like creature that chews on its roots, to the ever-present decay brought by time itself. Yet, the tree endures, embodying resilience and perseverance against chaos. Even Ragnarok, the prophesied end of the world, is said to begin when Yggdrasil trembles, signaling the collapse of the cosmic order. Imagine standing at the foot of Yggdrasil now. Feel the pulse of life coursing through its bark, connecting you to every corner of existence. You might hear whispers carried by the wind, secrets shared between realms, destinies being written, or perhaps the distant laughter of gods echoing across its sprawling canopy. There's something almost magical about such a vision, isn't there? To the Norse, Yggdrasil represented more than just physical space. It symbolized connection, balance, and the cyclical nature of life. Everything was intertwined. Gods, humans, animals, spirits, all united by this mighty ash tree. In many ways, it mirrors how we understand the modern world. Interconnected systems working together, often unseen, but always essential. As you listen to this story, allow yourself to feel small, yet significant, under the vast expanse of Yggdrasil. Let its roots anchor you, its branches lift you, and its spirit remind you that no matter how fragmented life may seem, we are all part of something greater. And now, we'll continue exploring more bizarre and fascinating beliefs from ancient times. But for now, rest here beneath the sheltering boughs of Yggdrasil, drifting deeper into relaxation. Close your eyes and imagine an ocean so vast, so primordial, that it contains the essence of all creation. This is no ordinary sea. It's the ocean of milk, a cosmic expanse brimming with potential life, treasures, and even immortality. In Hindu mythology, this sacred ocean becomes the stage for one of the most extraordinary tales ever told, the churning of the ocean, or as it is known in Sanskrit, Samudra Manthan. This story isn't just about gods and demons working together. It's a profound allegory for the cycles of creation, destruction, and renewal that shape existence itself. It teaches us how balance arises from chaos, how cooperation can emerge from conflict, and how life springs forth from the depths of the unknown. In the beginning, the universe was young, and the gods, known as devas, were weakened by a curse cast upon them by a powerful sage. Their strength waned, leaving them vulnerable to the mischievous schemes of their eternal rivals, the demons, or asuras. Desperate to regain their power, the devas approached Lord Vishnu, the preserver of the universe, seeking guidance. Vishnu revealed a solution. Hidden deep within the ocean of milk lay the nectar of immortality, Amrita. If they could churn the ocean, they would uncover not only Amrita, but countless treasures and blessings necessary for sustaining life. However, such a monumental task required immense strength the devas alone did not possess. And so, reluctantly, they struck a deal with the asuras. Both sides would work together to churn the ocean, promising to share its spoils equally. To accomplish this feat, they chose Mount Mandara as their churning rod, and the great serpent Vasuki as their rope. The devas held the tail of Vasuki, while the asuras gripped his head, symbolizing the duality of forces at play: good and evil, light and darkness, order and chaos, all intertwined in the act of creation. As the churning began, the strain on Mount Mandara grew unbearable. The mountain started to sink into the ocean, threatening to bring the entire endeavor to ruin. Sensing disaster, Vishnu incarnated as Kurma, the giant turtle, and placed himself beneath the mountain stabilizing it with his sturdy shell. With this foundation secured, the churning resumed. One by one, incredible beings and objects emerged from the frothy waves. First came Kamadhenu, the divine cow who grants wishes. Then Uchchashrava, the seven-headed white horse, and Airavata, the majestic elephant destined to serve Indra, king of the gods. Each treasure symbolized a vital aspect of existence, from abundance and beauty to power and wisdom. But not everything that arose was benevolent. Poison, dark and deadly, also bubbled up during the churning. So potent was this venom that it threatened to destroy the cosmos. In desperation, the gods turned to Shiva, the destroyer-turned-protector, who swallowed the poison to save the world. His throat turned blue from the toxic substance, earning him the title Nilakantha, the blue-throated one. After much effort, the ultimate prize finally surfaced. Dhanvantari, the physician of the cause, appeared bearing the pot of Amrita, the nectar of immortality. At this moment, the fragile alliance between Devas and Asuras shattered. Chaos erupted as the Asuras seized the pot, refusing to share it with their rivals. Once again, Vishnu intervened, this time disguising himself as Mohini, a mesmerizing enchantress. Using her charm, Mohini tricked the Asuras into handing over the Amrita, ensuring that only the Devas partook of its blessings. But amidst the drama, one demon named Rahu cleverly disguised himself as a god and drank a sip of the nectar before being discovered. Before the Amrita could pass beyond his throat, Vishnu decapitated him, forever freezing Rahu's head in celestial limbo. To this day, Rahu's disembodied head roams the skies, occasionally swallowing the sun and moon during eclipses. The churning of the ocean is more than just a myth. It's a reflection of life itself. Just as the Devas and Asuras work together despite their differences, we too must find ways to collaborate across divides to achieve common goals. The process reminds us that creation often involves struggle, sacrifice, and moments of uncertainty. Yet, out of chaos comes clarity, and from darkness emerges light. Imagine yourself standing beside the ocean of milk now, watching the gods and demons churn its waters. Feel the rhythm of their efforts, the push and pull, the give and take. Let the image remind you that life thrives on balance and harmony, even when the path seems fraught with challenges. And now let this story carry you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every effort, no matter how difficult, contributes to the unfolding of something greater. Imagine a time before time. A moment when there was no land, no sky, no stars, just an endless expanse of water, stretching infinitely in every direction. This is the Noon, the primordial ocean of chaos that existed at the dawn of creation in ancient Egyptian mythology. It was not just water, it was potential, mystery, and the very essence of existence waiting to unfold. In this eternal void, all life and all possibility lay dormant. The Egyptians believed that the universe began as a single point of order, emerging from this chaotic sea. From these waters rose the first act of creation, the sun god Ra, who brought light into the darkness and set the stage for everything we know today. To the ancient Egyptians, the nun represented more than just physical water. It symbolized the infinite unknown, the source of all things. Imagine standing on its shoreless edge, peering into its depths. There are no waves, no currents, only stillness, yet alive with untapped energy. This was the state of the cosmos before creation, formless, boundless, and brimming with possibilities. The nun wasn't evil or malevolent, it simply was. It embodied both chaos and fertility, destruction and renewal. In some myths, the gods themselves retreated to the safety of the nun during times of great upheaval, seeking refuge in its eternal embrace. Even after the world came into being, the Egyptians believed that the nun surrounded their ordered universe, always present, always watching, ready to reclaim what it had birthed if balance faltered. One day, or perhaps outside of time itself, a miracle occurred. From the depths of the Nun emerged the Ben, the first mound of dry land. Some say it appeared like an island rising from the waters, while others describe it as a pyramid-shaped hill symbolizing the origin of creation. Upon this mound stood Atum, the creator god, who willed himself into existence out of the void. Atum's arrival marked the beginning of differentiation, the separation of light from dark, earth from water, and eventually life from non-life. He spat or sneezed to create Shu, the god of air, and Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. Together, they gave rise to Geb, the earth, and Nut, the sky, forming the foundation of the world as the Egyptians understood it. The story of the nun teaches us about the delicate balance between chaos and order. Without the fertile waters of the Nun, there could be no creation. Yet, without the structure provided by the gods, the Nun's chaos would consume everything. This duality reflects how the ancient Egyptians viewed the natural world, a constant interplay between opposing forces. Consider the Nile River, so central to Egyptian life. Each year, the river flooded, bringing rich silt to nourish the soil. To the Egyptians, this annual inundation mirrored the primordial waters of the Nun, chaotic yet life-giving. They saw their civilization as a fragile island of order floating atop a sea of chaos, much like the primeval mound rising from the Nun. Even after creation, the Nun played a vital role in Egyptian cosmology. During the night, the sun god Ra journeyed through the underworld, sailing across the Nun in his solar bark. Each morning, he emerged victorious, reborn from the depths of chaos to bring light and life back to the world. This daily cycle reinforced the idea that existence itself depended on maintaining harmony amidst the ever-present threat of disorder. The Egyptians also believed that the Nun held secrets of immortality. In the afterlife, souls navigated treacherous waters similar to the Nun, facing trials designed to test their worthiness. Those who succeeded joined Osiris, the god of the dead, in a paradise called the Field of Reeds, a reflection of the perfect balance achieved by overcoming chaos. Imagine yourself now, suspended in the tranquil waters of the Nun. Feel its cool embrace surrounding you, holding within it the promise of infinite potential. Let its stillness remind you that even in moments of uncertainty, there lies the seed of something new, something beautiful. This belief in the primordial waters speaks to humanity's enduring fascination with origins. Where did we come from? What lies beyond our understanding? For the ancient Egyptians, the answers lay in the Nun, a timeless reminder that creation often begins in chaos, but beauty emerges from balance. And now, let this story carry you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every beginning holds the promise of something extraordinary. Close your eyes and imagine a time when the universe was born not from light or fire, but from the remains of an ancient giant. In both Norse and Chinese mythology, creation begins with destruction, an act so primal, so visceral, that it speaks to humanity's fascination with life emerging from death. These myths remind us that even in endings, there are beginnings. Tonight, we'll explore two extraordinary tales, the Norse myth of Ymir and the Chinese legend of Pangu, where the world itself is crafted from the body of a colossal being. Let these stories carry you into a dreamlike state as we uncover how civilizations imagine their origins. In the cold, dark void of Ginnungagap, the yawning abyss between realms, life began with a single drop of warmth. From this spark emerged Ymir, the first living being, a frost giant whose very existence shaped the cosmos. But Ymir was more than just a creature. He was a force of nature, embodying chaos and potential. As Ymir slept, rivers of sweat poured from his body, giving rise to other giants. His breath became the winds, and his movements stirred the primordial elements. Yet, despite his role as the progenitor of life, Ymir's chaotic essence made him a threat to order. And so the gods, Odin and his brothers Vili and Ve, rose against him. They slew Ymir, and from his immense corpse, they forged the world. His flesh became the earth, his bones formed mountains, and his blood pooled into vast oceans. His skull was lifted high to become the dome of the skies, held aloft by 4 dwarves, representing the cardinal directions. Even the clouds were said to be spun from his brain, drifting lazily across the heavens. This act of creation through dismemberment may seem brutal, but it reflects a profound truth about the cycle of life and death. From Ymir's sacrifice came the ordered world we know today, a reminder that beauty often arises from struggle. Now, let us travel eastward to ancient China, where another giant played a pivotal role in shaping existence. This is the story of Pangu, who lay dormant inside a cosmic egg for 18,000 years before awakening to find himself surrounded by chaos. When Pangu emerged from the egg, he used his mighty axe to split the primordial unity into 2 halves, Yang, the clear and light energy, which rose to form the Qi and Yin, the heavy and dark energy, which sank to create the earth. For countless eons, Pangu stood tall between these realms, ensuring their separation. Each day the sky grew higher and the earth thicker, until the world reached its proper proportions. But Pangu's work did not end with his death. When he finally collapsed from exhaustion, his body transformed into the features of the world, His breath became the wind and clouds, his voice turned into thunder, and his eyes shone brightly as the sun and moon. His limbs shaped the 4 great mountain ranges, while his blood flowed as rivers and seas. Even the stars were said to have been scattered from his hair, twinkling eternally in tribute to his sacrifice. While these myths come from vastly different cultures, they share striking similarities. Both Ymir and Pangu represent the raw materials of creation, their bodies literally becoming the foundation of the world. Their deaths symbolize the triumph of order over chaos, a theme universal to human experience. Imagine standing amidst the remnants of these giants' bodies now. Feel the weight of the mountains carved from their bones, the coolness of the rivers flowing from their veins, and the vastness of the skies stretching from their skulls. These stories connect us to something larger than ourselves, a shared understanding that life is built upon the sacrifices of those who came before. And now, let these visions guide you deeper into relaxation. Allow yourself to drift within the embrace of worlds born from giants, cradled by the echoes of ancient wisdom. Imagine the sky as a vast open plain. Across this endless expanse, 2 great animals race tirelessly, one chased by predators, the other fleeing unseen dangers. These are no ordinary creatures. They are the sun and the moon, locked in an eternal chase that shapes our days and nights. This is the myth of the sun and moon chase, a belief found in various forms across cultures, where celestial bodies are not just distant spheres, but living beings driven by fear and survival. In these stories, the movement of the sun and moon isn't governed by gravity or physics. It's fueled by emotion, instinct, and the primal need to escape danger. Such myths remind us how ancient people sought to explain the mysteries of the heavens through the lens of their own experiences with nature and survival. In many Native American traditions, the sun is personified as a creature running for its life. Among the Navajo, for example, the sun is often depicted as a fiery being pursued by monsters. Each dawn, it rises into the sky, racing ahead of its pursuers, only to disappear at dusk when the monsters catch up. But the sun doesn't die. It escapes through the underworld, emerging again the next morning to begin the cycle anew. This daily drama reflects the rhythms of life itself. Light triumphing over darkness, hope overcoming fear, and renewal following destruction. For the Navajo, the sun's journey was more than just a story. It symbolized resilience and the enduring fight against adversity. Similarly, some Plains tribes imagine the sun as a bison or deer, endlessly hunted by wolves or other predators. Its path across the sky mirrored the frantic zigzagging of prey trying to evade capture. When the sun finally sets, it vanishes below the horizon, safe for another night, before rising again to continue its desperate flight. In parts of Africa, the moon takes center stage in a tale of jealousy and rivalry. According to certain Bantu-speaking peoples, the moon once lived peacefully alongside the sun. However, a quarrel between them led to the moon fleeing into the sky, pursued relentlessly by the sun. Their constant chase explains why the two never meet, creating the alternation of day and night. In some versions of the myth, the moon isn't running from the sun, but from a group of hunters or spirits angered by its refusal to share its light. To protect itself, the moon hides during the new moon phase, waiting until the threat passes before re-emerging. This lunar cycle becomes a metaphor for vulnerability, courage, and the cyclical nature of existence. In Hindu mythology, the moon, or Chandra, is also caught in a cosmic chase. Chandra, known for his radiant beauty, incurred the wrath of Shiva after flirting with his wife, Parvati. In retaliation, Shiva sent a serpent named Rahu to devour the moon. Though Chandra managed to escape by breaking free from Rahu's jaws, he remains cursed to wax and wane each month as a reminder of his folly. The phases of the moon then represent its ongoing struggle to evade Rahu. During the full moon, Chandra shines brightly, having temporarily escaped his pursuer. But as the serpent closes in, the moon begins to wane, disappearing entirely during the new moon before beginning its recovery. This myth ties the moon's cycles to themes of accountability, redemption, and perseverance. In East Asia, particularly in Chinese and Vietnamese folklore, dragons play a central role in the movements of the sun and moon. One popular legend describes a pair of dragons, one representing Yang, the sun, and the other, Yin, the moon, engaged in an eternal chase. The sun dragon races ahead, bringing warmth and light, while the moon dragon follows closely behind, casting cool shadows and guiding tides. During eclipses, however, the roles reverse. A celestial battle ensues, with the dragons attempting to consume one another. Ancient observers believed that loud noises, such as banging pots and drums, could scare the dragons away, restoring balance to the skies. These rituals reveal humanity's deep connection to the cosmos and our desire to influence forces beyond our control. While these myths come from different corners of the world, they share common threads. Whether it's the sun fleeing predators, the moon dodging enemies, or dragons chasing each other, these stories reflect humanity's attempt to make sense of the natural world using familiar metaphors, animals, emotions, and conflict. Imagine yourself now beneath the starry sky, watching the sun dip below the horizon or the moon rise gracefully above. Can you hear the pounding hooves of the sun bison, or see the shimmering tail of the moon dragon? Let these visions carry you deeper into relaxation, reminding you that even the vastness of space can feel alive and relatable. And now, let this story guide you toward restful slumber, cradled by the knowledge that the heavens themselves tell tales of survival, beauty, and wonder. Close your eyes and imagine a time before creation, when the universe was not yet formed. Instead, there existed an infinite expanse of primordial chaos, a swirling, formless void teeming with potential. At the heart of this chaos dwelled the Tiamat, the great dragon mother of the universe. She was no ordinary creature. She embodied the raw essence of existence itself, untamed, unpredictable, and vast beyond comprehension. In ancient Mesopotamian mythology, particularly within the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation epic. Tiamat represents the untamed forces of nature and the boundless waters from which all life emerged. Her story is one of creation born out of conflict, a tale that explores how order rises from chaos and how destruction can give birth to renewal. Tiamat was more than just a deity. She was the personification of saltwater oceans, the chaotic, restless seas that stretched endlessly into the unknown. Alongside her consort Apsu, who represented freshwater, they formed the foundation of existence. Together, their mingling waters gave rise to the first generation of gods, beings who would eventually shape the cosmos as we know it today. But Tiamat's role wasn't merely maternal or nurturing. As the embodiment of chaos, she also held the power to destroy. In some interpretations, Tiamat is depicted as both creator and destroyer, a dual force capable of birthing worlds while simultaneously threatening to consume them back into the abyss. This duality reflects humanity's complex relationship with nature. Like the ocean, Tiamat could be calm and life-giving, but she could also unleash storms and floods that brought devastation. To the ancients, her presence served as a reminder of the delicate balance between creation and destruction, a theme central to many mythologies. The peace between Tiamat, Apsu, and their offspring did not last forever. As the younger gods grew stronger and noisier, Apsu became enraged by their clamor and plotted to destroy them. However, his plan failed when the clever god Ea intervened, slaying Apsu and taking control of the fresh waters. Tiamat, devastated by the loss of her consort, vowed vengeance against the younger gods. She transformed into a monstrous dragon-like being, embodying the full fury of chaos. With her army of serpents, demons, and monsters, she prepared to wage war on those who dared challenge her dominion. Among the younger gods stood Marduk, a powerful warrior destined to become the chief deity of Babylon. He stepped forward, offering to confront Tiamat, but only if the other gods acknowledged him as their supreme ruler. Desperate for salvation, they agreed, granting Marduk unparalleled authority. The battle between Marduk and Tiamat was nothing short of cataclysmic. Armed with a bow, arrows, a net, and a mighty storm wind, Marduk confronted the Dragon Mother in her chaotic realm. Using his net, he ensnared her massive body, and with the storm winds, he forced her jaws open wide. Then, with a single arrow, he pierced her heart, silencing her roar forever. With Tiamat defeated, Marduk set about creating the world from her remains. He split her colossal body in half, using one part to form the heavens and the other to create the earth. Her tears became rivers, and her blood gave rise to humankind, tasked with serving the gods. Thus, from the corpse of chaos came the ordered cosmos, a testament to the triumph of structure over disorder. Tiamat's story serves as a profound allegory for the cycles of creation and destruction. Her defeat at the hands of Marduk symbolizes the establishment of order, a necessary act for civilization to flourish. Yet, her legacy endures as a reminder of the ever-present threat of chaos lurking beneath the surface. Even in modern times, Tiamat continues to inspire awe She has been reimagined in literature, art, and even popular culture as a symbol of primal power and untapped potential. Her image speaks to our collective fascination with the mysteries of the universe, the forces that lie beyond our understanding, and the boundaries we strive to impose upon them. Imagine yourself now, floating in the cosmic waters of Tiamat's realm. Feel the ebb and flow of her tides, the pulse of creation and destruction intertwined. Let her story remind you that even in moments of chaos, there lies the promise of something new, something beautiful. And now, let this ancient tale carry you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every beginning holds the seeds of transformation. Imagine a time when Japan was not yet a chain of islands, but merely ripples on an endless ocean. In Japanese mythology, this land did not rise from the depths through random chance. It was created by divine hands stirring the cosmic waters. This is the story of the floating island of Japan, where gods shaped the world with intention, grace, and harmony. In this tale, we encounter Izanagi and Izanami, two primordial deities tasked with bringing order to chaos. Together they stood upon the heavenly bridge, a sacred place that connected the heavens to the earth below. From here, they stirred the ocean with a jeweled spear, their actions giving birth to the first islands of Japan. It's a myth that speaks to humanity's awe-inspiring connection to nature and to the belief that even the ground beneath our feet has divine origins. The story begins in Takamagahara, the plain of high heaven, where the gods gathered to decide how best to bring structure to the watery void below. They entrusted this monumental task to Izanagi, the male god of creation, and his sister consort, Izanami, the female goddess of life. Standing side by side on the heavenly bridge, they were given a magical spear called Ame no Nuboko, or the heavenly jeweled spear. Holding the spear aloft, Izanagi and Izanami stirred the primordial ocean below. As they lifted the spear, droplets of brine fell back into the sea, coalescing into the first island, a floating mass of land named Onogorochima. This tiny speck of earth became their foundation, rising gently from the waves like the first breath of dawn breaking over the horizon. On Onogorochima, Izanagi and Izanami built a celestial pillar and performed a ritual marriage ceremony, circling the pillar in opposite directions before meeting each other. Their union symbolized balance, male and female energies coming together to create something greater than themselves. And so began the process of shaping the archipelago we now know as Japan. After their sacred vows, Izanagi and Izanami gave birth to countless kami, or spirits, who embodied natural forces such as wind, rivers, mountains, and trees. But their most significant creations were the islands themselves. One by one, these lands emerged from the ocean, each imbued with its own spirit and purpose. The first major island born was Awaji Island, followed by Shikoku, Kyushu, and finally Honshu, the largest and most central of Japan's main islands. Each new landmass rose from the waters like a pearl emerging from its shell, unique yet part of a greater whole. These islands weren't static, they were alive, pulsing with the energy of the gods who had formed them. As the islands took shape, Izanagi and Izanami continued their creative work, populating the land with forests, rivers, and wildlife. Yet tragedy soon struck. During childbirth, Izanami perished while giving life to the fire deity Kagutsuchi. Her death left Izanagi heartbroken, and he descended into Yomi, the shadowy underworld, to retrieve her. Though his efforts failed, Izanagi returned to the surface purified and renewed, performing a cleansing ritual that gave rise to additional kami, including Amaterasu, the sun goddess, and Susanoo, the storm god. The myth of the floating island carries profound symbolism for Japanese culture. The act of stirring the ocean reflects humanity's relationship with the natural world, a delicate interplay between chaos and order. The islands themselves are seen as gifts from the gods, fragile yet enduring, much like human life itself. To this day, the Japanese people honor Izanagi and Izanami as ancestral figures who laid the groundwork for their nation. Shrines dedicated to these deities dot the landscape, serving as reminders of the sacred bond between humans and the earth. Even modern interpretations of this myth emphasize themes of unity, resilience, and respect for the environment. Imagine yourself now standing on the shores of ancient Japan, watching mist rise from the ocean as new islands take form. Feel the rhythm of the waves responding to the gods' movements, carrying whispers of creation across the water. Let this vision guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every piece of land holds a story of origin and purpose. And now, let this timeless tale carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world shaped by divine hands. Imagine a time that is not bound by yesterday or tomorrow, but exists outside of linear time altogether. This is the Dreamtime, the sacred era in which the world was shaped by the dreams and journeys of ancestral beings. For the indigenous peoples of Australia, this is not just a myth, it's a living reality, a timeless foundation for existence itself. In the Dreamtime, the universe was born not through random chance, but through the creative acts of powerful ancestors who emerged from the formless void. These beings traveled across the land, sea, and sky, leaving behind their footprints in the form of mountains, rivers, stars, animals, and even humans. Their stories are etched into the landscape, whispered on the winds, and carried forward through song lines, ancient chants that map the creation of the world. The Dreamtime, or Chukurpa in some Aboriginal languages, is more than just a creation story. It's a spiritual framework that connects all aspects of life. It bridges the past, present, and future, reminding us that everything in the cosmos is interconnected. To the Aboriginal people, the Dreamtime isn't something that happened long ago. It's an ongoing process, as alive today as it was at the dawn of creation. During the Dreamtime, ancestral spirits arose from the earth, water, and sky. They took many forms, sometimes human, sometimes animal, and often a combination of both. These beings moved across the barren, featureless world, shaping it with their actions. Where they walked, plants sprouted. Where they rested, waterholes formed. And where they fought, rugged landscapes emerged. As these ancestors completed their journeys, they transformed into natural features. Mountains became sleeping giants, rocks turned into sacred sites, and constellations were etched into the night sky. Through their movements, they created not only the physical world, but also the laws, customs, and values that guide Aboriginal communities to this day. One of the most famous Dreamtime stories is that of the rainbow serpent, a mighty creature who slithered across the land, carving out rivers, valleys, and gorges. As she moved, her body left trails of life-giving water, ensuring the survival of plants and animals. In some versions of the tale, the rainbow serpent is both creator and protector, rewarding those who respect the land and punishing those who harm it. Another well-known story tells of the Sun Mother, who brought light to the world after emerging from the darkness. Her warmth awakened the seeds buried deep within the soil, giving birth to forests and grasslands. She also taught the first humans how to live harmoniously with the environment, sharing knowledge about hunting, gathering, and ceremony. These tales are not merely folklore. They're lessons passed down through generations. They teach the importance of balance, respect, and kinship with the natural world. Every rock, tree, and stream has significance because it carries the imprint of these ancestral beings. One of the most extraordinary aspects of the Dreamtime is the concept of song lines. These are intricate pathways that crisscross Australia, connecting sacred sites and landmarks. Each songline corresponds to a specific Dreamtime story, and singing the correct verses allows travelers to navigate vast distances without getting lost. To walk along a songline is to retrace the steps of the ancestors, keeping their stories alive. For Indigenous Australians, maintaining these traditions isn't just cultural preservation, it's a responsibility to ensure the continuity of the Dreamtime itself. By singing the songs, performing ceremonies, and caring for the land, they keep the ancestral spirits active and engaged in the world. The Dreamtime continues to shape Aboriginal culture and identity. It informs art, music, dance, and rituals, serving as a reminder of humanity's place within the larger web of existence. Dot paintings, for example, often depict Dreamtime stories, using symbols to represent ancestors, animals, and landscapes. Similarly, traditional dances mimic the movements of ancestral beings, bringing their energy into the present moment. For those unfamiliar with the Dreamtime, it may seem like a distant or abstract concept, but its essence lies in simplicity, in recognizing the sacredness of every blade of grass, every drop of water, and every star in the sky. It invites us to see the world not as separate from ourselves, but as an extension of our own being. Imagine yourself now, standing beneath the vast Australian sky, listening to the hum of insects and the rustle of leaves. Feel the presence of the ancestors in the land around you, their wisdom embedded in every grain of sand. Let the rhythms of the Dreamtime carry you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that we are all part of an eternal, interconnected whole. And now let this ancient understanding guide you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world shaped by dreams. Close your eyes and imagine standing at the threshold of eternity. Before you lies the Hall of Maat, a sacred chamber where your soul will face its ultimate test. This is the Egyptian weighing of the heart, a ritual that determined whether you would enter paradise or face eternal oblivion. It's not wealth, power, or fame that decides your fate, but the weight of your heart against a single feather. In ancient Egypt, this belief wasn't just a myth. It was a profound reflection on morality, justice, and the afterlife. To the Egyptians, life was preparation for death, and every action carried consequences far beyond the mortal realm. Let this story carry you into Relaxia as we explore one of humanity's most poetic visions of judgment. At the core of Egyptian spirituality was Maat, a concept representing truth, balance, harmony, and cosmic order. Maat wasn't just an abstract ideal. It was embodied by a goddess who wore a feather in her headdress, symbolizing lightness and purity. Her feather became the standard by which all souls were measured. When a person died, their journey didn't end. Instead, they embarked on a perilous path through the underworld to reach Osiris, the god of the dead. Along the way, they faced trials designed to test their worthiness. But the final trial, the weighing of the heart, was the most crucial. Here, their moral character would be laid bare, judged not by human laws, but by divine principles. The scene unfolds in the Hall of Maat, presided over by Osiris himself. On one side stands Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification, guiding the deceased forward. Opposite them sits Thoth, the ibis-headed scribe of the gods, ready to record the outcome. And above it all hovers Ammit, a fearsome creature with the head of a crocodile, the body of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus, waiting to devour unworthy hearts. The ritual begins when Anubis places the deceased's heart onto one pan of a golden scale. On the other pan rests the feather of Maat. If the heart is lighter than or equal to the feather, it signifies that the person lived a virtuous life, free from corruption and deceit. Their soul is then granted passage to the field of reeds, a paradise mirroring the beauty of Egypt, where they reunite with loved ones and enjoy everlasting peace. But if the heart is heavier, if it bears the burden of wrongdoing, it tips the scale downward. In this case, Ammit devours the heart, consigning the soul to non-existence. There is no fiery torment, no second chances, only the erasure of being, as though the individual had never existed at all. To the Egyptians, the heart was more than just an organ. It was the seat of emotion, intellect, and morality. They believed it recorded every thought, word, and deed throughout a person's life. Unlike the brain, which was often discarded during mummification, the heart was preserved carefully within the body, encased in a special amulet called the heart scarab, inscribed with spells from the Book of the Dead. These scarabs served as talismans to ensure the heart spoke favorably during judgment. This belief underscores the importance of living a righteous life. Every lie told, every act of cruelty committed added weight to the heart. Conversely, acts of kindness, honesty, and compassion kept it light. For the Egyptians, morality wasn't about external rewards or punishments. It was about cultivating inner balance, so that when the time came, one could stand confidently before the gods. As part of the ritual, the deceased recited the negative confession, a list of denials affirming their innocence before 42 divine judges, each representing a different aspect of Ma'at. Phrases like, "I have not stolen," "I have not lied," and "I have not caused pain" echoed through the hall, reinforcing the values cherished by society. These declarations weren't mere words. They were reminders of how interconnected ethics and spirituality were in ancient Egyptian culture. By rejecting harmful behaviors and embracing virtue, individuals hope to align themselves with the cosmic harmony of Ma'at, ensuring their place among the blessed dead. The weighing of the heart is more than just a myth. It's a meditation on accountability and legacy. It challenges us to consider what truly matters, not the possessions we accumulate, but the impact we leave behind. Would our hearts tip the scales toward salvation or sink under the weight of regret? Imagine yourself now, standing in the hall of Ma'at. Feel the stillness of the air, the watchful gaze of the gods, the delicate balance of the golden scale. Let this vision guide you deeper into relaxation, reminding you that even in moments of uncertainty, there lies the opportunity to strive for goodness and grace. And now, let this timeless tale carry you toward restful slumber, cradled by the knowledge that every choice shapes the legacy we leave behind. Imagine a world where the sun does not rise automatically each morning. Instead, its daily journey across the sky depends on an ancient pact between humanity and the gods, a pact sealed with blood. This is the belief of the Aztecs, who saw their role in the cosmos as vital to sustaining existence itself. Through human sacrifice, they offered lifeblood to nourish the sun, ensuring that it would continue its eternal battle against darkness. To the Aztecs, this was no mere superstition. It was a sacred duty born from their understanding of creation, destruction, and renewal. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we explore one of history's most misunderstood practices, the act of giving blood to keep the world running. In Aztec mythology, the universe began after 4 previous worlds had been destroyed, each ending in catastrophe. The 5th and current era, called Nahui Olin, the Age of Movement, came into being through a monumental struggle led by the god Huitzilopochtli, the hummingbird warrior associated with the sun and war. Huitzilopochtli fought his sister Xoyolxauhqui and her brothers, the Tenson Huitznawa 400 stars, who sought to destroy their mother Coatlicue, the earth goddess. In a dramatic showdown atop Coatepec, the Hill of the Serpent, Huitzilopochtli emerged victorious, dismembering Xoyolxauhqui and scattering her remains, a symbol of the moon vanquished by the sun. This victory marked the birth of order over chaos, but it also set the stage for an ongoing cosmic battle. According to Aztec belief, the sun required constant nourishment to remain strong enough to defeat the forces of night and oblivion. Without sustenance, it would falter, plunging the world back into eternal darkness. And so, humanity became responsible for feeding the sun, not with food or prayers, but with the most precious substance they possessed, blood. For the Aztecs, human sacrifice was not an act of cruelty, but a profound expression of devotion and reciprocity. They believed that just as the gods had sacrificed themselves to create the world, humans owed them a debt repaid through offerings of blood. Each drop spilled was seen as a gift to Tonatiuh, the sun god, empowering him to continue his arduous journey across the heavens. The victims chosen for these rituals were often warriors captured in battle, or individuals selected based on their status and connection to the divine. Far from being vilified, many viewed their role with pride, knowing they were fulfilling a noble purpose. Their deaths were framed as honorable transitions, allowing them to join the ranks of the gods. One of the most iconic sites of these ceremonies was the Templo Mayor in Tenochtitlan, the heart of the Aztec Empire. Here, priests performed elaborate rites atop towering pyramids, cutting out the hearts of sacrificial victims using obsidian knives. These organs, still beating, were held aloft toward the sky before being burned as offerings to the sun. Though gruesome by modern standards, these acts were deeply symbolic, representing the shackle of death and rebirth central to Aztec cosmology. While large-scale sacrifices occurred during festivals tied to the agricultural calendar, bloodletting was also a personal practice woven into everyday life. Nobles, priests, and even commoners participated in ritual self-mutilation, piercing ears, tongues, and limbs to draw blood. Tools such as stingray spines, sharp cactus needles, and carved bone were used to extract small amounts of blood, which were then smeared onto statues of deities or burned as further tributes. These acts reinforced the Aztec worldview that all life was interconnected. By offering blood willingly, individuals demonstrated their commitment to maintaining cosmic balance. Even rulers engaged in public displays of bloodletting, emphasizing their divine mandate to lead while reminding citizens of their shared responsibility to sustain the world. The Aztec emphasis on blood stemmed from their understanding of life as inherently cyclical. Death was not an end, but a transition, a necessary step in the process of renewal. Just as crops needed rain to grow and rivers required flow to sustain ecosystems, the universe relied on blood to fuel its perpetual motion. This perspective offers insight into why human sacrifice held such significance. To the Aztecs, it wasn't about fear or dominance, it was about participation. Every individual played a part in upholding the delicate harmony of existence. Through their actions, they affirmed their place within the grand tapestry of creation. Imagine yourself now standing beneath the blazing sun, feeling its warmth on your skin. Picture the vibrant colors of Aztec temples and the rhythmic beat of ceremonial drums echoing through the air. Let the weight of this sacred duty remind you of the interconnectedness of all things, the fragile yet enduring balance that keeps our world alive. And now, let this ancient wisdom carry you deeper into relaxation. cradled by the knowledge that every action, no matter how small, contributes to the greater whole. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing at the edge of an ancient Roman well. The air is cool, damp with the scent of earth and water. In your hands, you hold a thin sheet of lead or tin inscribed with words that carry your deepest desires for vengeance or justice, depending on how you see it. This is no ordinary piece of metal. It's a Roman curse tablet, a tool of magic designed to invoke divine intervention against those who have wronged you. In the ancient world, when someone sought retribution but lacked the means to act directly, they turned to these mysterious artifacts. By etching their grievances onto metal and casting them into sacred spaces, wells, rivers, graves, they entrusted their pleas to the gods. These tablets reveal not only the darker side of human emotion, but also the profound faith people placed in unseen forces to right the wrongs of their lives. The Roman curse tablets, known as defixiones in Latin, were small sheets of lead, tin, or other malleable metals, often rolled up or folded before being deposited in places believed to connect the mortal realm with the divine. They contained carefully written curses targeting specific individuals, rivals in love, opponents in court cases, thieves, even enemies in sports competitions. These curses weren't idle threats whispered under one's breath. Instead, they were formal petitions addressed to deities such as Pluto, god of the underworld, or Hecate, goddess of witchcraft and crossroads. The Romans believed that by enlisting the help of these powerful beings, they could tip the scales of fate in their favor. The language used on the tablets was precise yet personal. For example, a merchant whose goods had been stolen might write, "I bind so-and-so, who stole my wares, and I entrust this matter to Mercury, protector of commerce." Others went further, demanding physical harm or humiliation upon their targets. Some even requested that the gods render their victims mute during legal proceedings, ensuring victory in disputes. Creating a curse tablet was both an act of desperation and devotion. First, the aggrieved party would acquire a suitable piece of metal, often recycling scraps available at the time. Using a stylus or sharp object, they'd painstakingly carve their message, sometimes in elegant script, other times in crude scratches reflecting their urgency. Once completed, the tablet was typically folded, rolled, or pierced with nails to seal its power. Its final destination was crucial. It needed to reach a place where the gods of the underworld could hear it. Wells and springs were popular choices because they symbolized portals between worlds. Burial sites, too, served as conduits for contacting spirits, while rivers carried the curses far and wide, amplifying their reach. One remarkable aspect of these rituals is their accessibility. Unlike grand temple offerings reserved for the wealthy, anyone could create a curse tablet regardless of social status. Whether farmer, slave, or senator, all shared the belief that their voice mattered, even if spoken through the silent medium of scratched metal. Archaeologists have uncovered thousands of these tablets across the former Roman Empire, each offering a glimpse into the private struggles of everyday life. One famous example comes from Bath, England, where numerous tablets were found in the sacred waters of Sulis Minerva, the local goddess associated with healing and justice. One inscription reads, Docimedes has lost 2 gloves. He asks that the person who stole them lose their minds unless they return them to the temple. Another seeks revenge on chariot racers. Bind the horses of Team X, blind their charioteer, and let none stand against my champion. Such texts highlight the diversity of grievances, from petty theft to high-stakes competition, all unified by the hope of supernatural assistance. To understand why cursed tablets were so prevalent, we must consider the context of Roman society. Life was fraught with uncertainty. Legal systems favored the elite, crime went unpunished, and rivalries often escalated without recourse. In such a world, turning to magic offered a sense of agency over uncontrollable circumstances. But beyond practicality, there's something deeply human about the practice. These tablets embody raw emotion, anger, fear, jealousy, hope, all captured in tangible form. They remind us that despite centuries of cultural evolution, our fundamental desires for fairness, protection, and resolution remain unchanged. Imagine yourself now, standing beside that ancient well. Feel the weight of the curse tablet in your hand, its surface etched with words meant to sway the gods. Let the ritual guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that even in moments of vulnerability, humanity has always sought ways to reclaim control. And now, let this timeless tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where whispers to the divine still echo through the ages. Imagine standing before a mysterious stone, smooth and rounded, marked with intricate patterns that seem to echo the rhythms of the cosmos. This is the Omphalos Stone, an ancient symbol revered by the Greeks as the navel of the earth. It wasn't just a rock. It was a sacred connection between humanity, the gods, and the very center of existence itself. In this tale, we journey to Delphi, one of the most important spiritual sites in ancient Greece. Here, nestled among towering cliffs and whispering winds, stood the Omphalos, a stone believed to mark the exact center of the world. To the Greeks, it represented more than geography. It embodied the heart of divine wisdom, a place where heaven and earth met in perfect harmony. The story of the Omphalos begins with Zeus, king of the gods, who sought to determine the precise midpoint of the earth. According to myth, he released 2 eagles from opposite ends of the world, one flying east, the other west, and commanded them to meet at the spot equidistant from both horizons. Where their paths crossed, Zeus declared the location to be the Omphalos, or navel of Gaia, Mother Earth. This sacred site became known as Delphi, home to the Oracle of Apollo, whose prophecies guided kings, warriors, and common folk alike. At its core lay the Omphalos Stone, a physical manifestation of this cosmic intersection. Carved with spirals and knots resembling the coils of snakes, the stone radiated an aura of mystery and power, drawing pilgrims from across the ancient world. To the Greeks, the concept of the navel carried profound meaning. Just as the human navel connects us to our origins, the Omphalos linked humanity to the divine source of creation. It served as a reminder that all things, gods, mortals, and nature, are interconnected through the fabric of the universe. The Omphalos wasn't merely decorative. It played a vital role in religious practices. Priests and priestesses regarded it as a conduit for communication between the mortal realm and the gods. During rituals, offerings were placed near the stone, invoking blessings, guidance, or protection. One version of the myth suggests that the original Omphalos was not man-made, but gifted by the gods themselves. Some say it was the stone Cronus swallowed instead of Zeus, believing it to be his newborn son. After Zeus defeated Cronus, the stone was enshrined at Delphi as a testament to the triumph of order over chaos. Another interpretation ties the Omphalos to the python, a monstrous serpent slain by Apollo to claim Delphi as his own. The stone may have symbolized the remains of the python, marking the victory of light over darkness and establishing Delphi as a sanctuary of enlightenment. For the Greeks, the Omphalos represented far more than a geographical point. It embodied the principles of balance, destiny, and universal truth. Its placement at Delphi underscored the belief that the gods orchestrated the movements of the stars, the flow of rivers, and even the fates of individuals. By visiting the Omphalos, seekers hope to align themselves with this greater cosmic order. The stone also reflected the Greeks' fascination with duality and unity. While it signified the centers of the earth, it simultaneously connected the heavens above and the underworld below. In this way, the Omphalos bridged realms, embodying the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. Though the original Omphalos stone has long since vanished, replicas and depictions survive in art and literature, preserving its legacy. One famous example resides in the Museum of Delphi, carved with intricate designs that evoke the swirling energies of the cosmos. Others appear in myths and stories, reminding us of the enduring allure of this sacred object. Even today, the idea of finding the center resonates deeply within us, whether literal or metaphorical. The search for the navel of existence reflects our desire to understand our place in the grand tapestry of life. The Omphalos invites us to reflect on what truly anchors us, our roots, our beliefs, our connections to something greater than ourselves. Imagine yourself now standing before the Omphalos stone, feeling the weight of centuries pressing gently upon you. Let its presence guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every journey begins and ends at the center. And now, let this timeless symbol carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world united by shared mysteries. Imagine a world where the human head is not merely a vessel for thought and life, but a sacred object imbued with immense spiritual power. This was the belief of the ancient Celts, who revered severed heads as symbols of strength, wisdom, and connection to the divine. In their mythology and practices, the head held a unique place, a bridge between the mortal realm and the other world. To the Celts, the head wasn't just anatomy, it was the seat of the soul, the source of identity, and a repository of supernatural energy. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we explore one of history's most intriguing traditions, the Celtic Head Cult. For the Celts, the head represented more than physical existence. It symbolized vitality, courage, and the essence of humanity itself. Warriors believed that by claiming an enemy's head in battle, they also captured their spirit, harnessing its power for protection or guidance. These severed heads were treated with reverence, often displayed prominently in homes or sanctuaries as talismans against evil. Archaeological evidence supports this practice. Excavations across Celtic territories have uncovered skulls preserved in bogs, adorned with gold leaf, or placed carefully within ritual sites. Some were mounted on stakes near sacred groves or rivers, serving as offerings to deities. Others were buried alongside prized possessions, suggesting that even in death, the head retained its significance. This veneration extended beyond warfare. Mythology tells of heroes who sought out the heads of wise ancestors or legendary figures, believing that possessing such relics granted access to their knowledge and blessings. To the Celts, the head was a gateway to the unseen, a tangible link to the gods and the afterlife. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Celtic head cult is found in their myths, which feature talking heads that continue to speak even after being severed. A prime example comes from Welsh mythology, specifically the tale of Bran the Blessed. Bran, a giant king endowed with extraordinary powers, instructed his followers to cut off his head after he died in battle. Miraculously, the head continued to converse and guide them, providing counsel and protection during their long journey back home. For decades, Bran's head kept watch over Britain, safeguarding the land until it was finally buried facing France to ward off invaders. Such stories highlight the Celts' belief in the enduring power of the head, not as a lifeless object, but as a conduit for wisdom and magic. Even separated from the body, the head remained alive in spirit, capable of influencing events and guiding those left behind. In Celtic society, warfare was deeply intertwined with spirituality. Warriors saw combat not only as a means of conquest, but as a sacred act, a way to prove themselves worthy of honor and divine favor. Taking an opponent's head became the ultimate trophy, signifying both victory and respect for the fallen foe. After battles, warriors would clean and preserve these heads, sometimes decorating them with intricate designs or embedding precious metals. They weren't trophies of malice, but tokens of admiration, acknowledging the bravery and skill of the defeated. By displaying these heads, the victors ensured that the spirits of their enemies continued to contribute to their household's prosperity and protection. The Celts also viewed severed heads as guardians of sacred spaces. At ceremonial sites, stone carvings of human heads, often stylized with wide eyes and open mouths, were used to mark boundaries and invoke spiritual presence. These sculptures served as reminders of the ancestors and protectors of the community. Additionally, heads played a crucial role in rituals dedicated to deities associated with war, fertility, and the underworld. Offerings of animal or human heads were made to appease these gods, ensuring bountiful harvests, successful hunts, and safe passage through life's challenges. Water sources like springs and lakes were particularly favored as repositories for such gifts, reflecting the Celts' belief in water as a threshold between worlds. While the practice of preserving and venerating heads may seem macabre to modern sensibilities, it underscores the profound connection the Celts felt to the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. For them, the head wasn't a morbid relic. It was a symbol of continuity, embodying the eternal flow of existence. Imagine yourself now standing in an ancient Celtic sanctuary, surrounded by carved stones and whispered prayers. Feel the weight of centuries pressing gently upon you, carried forward by the silent testimony of countless heads. Let their stories guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every ending holds the seed of renewal. And now, let this timeless tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where the past whispers endlessly through the ages. Close your eyes and imagine a windswept battlefield under a gray northern sky. The air is thick with the scent of earth and iron, and the cries of ravens echo across the land. This is the world of the Vikings, fierce warriors who lived not only for glory but also for their gods. Among their most chilling rituals was the Blood Eagle, a gruesome act performed to honor Odin, the All-Father, and to exact vengeance on those deemed unworthy. The Blood Eagle wasn't just an execution. It was a sacred offering, a demonstration of loyalty to the divine, and a testament to the Viking belief that death could be both brutal and meaningful. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we explore one of history's darkest rites. The Blood Eagle was said to involve carving the shape of an eagle into the back of a living victim, exposing and severing the ribs from the spine so they could be spread apart like wings. The lungs were then pulled through the opening, creating the appearance of blood-soaked wings. It was an agonizing and symbolic act meant to mimic the majesty and savagery of the eagle, a creature sacred to Odin. While no archaeological evidence directly confirms these accounts, descriptions of the ritual appear in Norse sagas and skaldic poetry, which often exaggerated or embellished events for dramatic effect. Whether literal or metaphorical, the Blood Eagle remains a powerful symbol of Viking brutality and spirituality. This ritual was reserved for enemies of great significance, traitors, oath breakers, or leaders whose actions had brought shame or harm to the Viking people. To perform the Blood Eagle was to declare them beyond redemption, their fate sealed by the will of the gods. To understand the Blood Eagle, we must first consider its connection to Odin, the chief deity of the Norse pantheon. Odin was a complex figure, a god of war, wisdom, poetry, and death. He demanded sacrifice, often requiring his followers to endure pain or inflict it upon others in his name. Odin's association with the eagle stems from his shamanic practices and his ability to transform into animal forms. In one myth, he sent two ravens, Hugin, thought, and Munin, memory, to scout the world each day, while eagles served as messengers between realms. By performing the Blood Eagle, Vikings believed they were sending their victims' souls directly to Odin, ensuring that their deaths held purpose within the cosmic order. The ritual also reflected Odin's dual nature, creator and destroyer, giver of life and taker of it. Just as Odin sacrificed himself by hanging from Yggdrasil for 9 days to gain ultimate knowledge, so too did the Vikings see value in extreme acts of devotion, even if it meant unspeakable suffering. One of the earliest recorded instances of the Blood Eagle appears in the Orkneyinga saga, which describes how Earl Torf Einar avenged the murder of his father by performing the ritual on Halfdan Longlegs, a son of Harald Fairhair, the first king of Norway. According to the saga, Einar carved the Blood Eagle onto Halfdan's back as retribution, declaring it an act worthy of the gods. Another account comes from the tale of Ragnar Lothbrok, where Ivar the Boneless allegedly performs the Blood Eagle on King Illa of Northumbria. Ella had captured and executed Ragnar in a pit of snakes, and Ivar sought revenge in the most horrific way imaginable. These stories highlight the personal and political motivations behind such rituals. They weren't random acts of violence, but deliberate statements of power and allegiance. The Blood Eagle can be interpreted in multiple ways. On one level, it represents the raw ferocity of Viking culture, their willingness to embrace brutality as part of their identity. Yet, on another, it speaks to their spiritual worldview, where every action carried meaning and consequence. To the Vikings, the eagle itself was a noble creature, soaring high above the earth and bridging the mortal and divine realms. By transforming a human body into the likeness of an eagle, they blurred the lines between man and beast, life and death, chaos and order. The act became a kind of grim artistry, turning horror into homage. Imagine yourself now standing on a windswept cliff, watching the sun dip below the horizon as ravens circle overhead. Feel the weight of the Viking ethos pressing gently upon you, their courage, their faith, their unyielding resolve. Let the echoes of the Blood Eagle remind you that even in moments of darkness, humanity seeks to create meaning, to connect with something greater than ourselves. And now, let this ancient tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where legends and rituals still whisper through the ages. Close your eyes and imagine a grand Roman banquet hall filled with the aroma of roasted meats, exotic spices, and sweet wines. Picture guests reclining on plush couches, indulging in an endless feast. Now, you might have heard tales of vomitoriums, special rooms where Romans supposedly purged their stomachs to make room for more food. But what if I told you that this popular image is not quite accurate? Tonight, let's unravel the truth behind one of history's most misunderstood concepts, the so-called Roman Vomitorium. In reality, the word vomitorium had nothing to do with vomiting or digestion. Instead, it referred to something far more practical yet equally fascinating, a feature of architecture designed to facilitate the flow of people during large gatherings. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we explore the origins, misconceptions, and legacy of the Roman Vomitorium. The term vomitorium comes from the Latin verb vomere, meaning to spew forth. However, rather than referring to bodily functions, it described how crowds poured out of entrances and exits at amphitheaters, theaters, and public spaces. These passageways were ingeniously designed to allow thousands of spectators to enter and exit quickly and efficiently, a marvel of ancient engineering. For example, the Colosseum in Rome boasted numerous vomitoria, which allowed up to 50,000 people to fill its seats within minutes. This architectural innovation ensured that events could begin promptly and that crowds dispersed swiftly after the spectacle ended. Far from being associated with gluttony, these structures symbolized order, efficiency, and the grandeur of Roman design. So, why did the misconception arise? It likely stems from later interpretations of Roman excess. Ancient texts describe lavish banquets where wealthy Romans consumed extravagant amounts of food and drink. Over time, these accounts fueled exaggerated stories about decadence, including the idea that Romans used special rooms to vomit mid-feast. While such behavior may have occurred occasionally, there's no evidence that dedicated spaces called vomitoriums existed for this purpose. To understand the confusion, we must delve into the world of Roman banquets, elaborate affairs that combined culinary artistry, social hierarchy, and entertainment. Wealthy hosts spared no expense to impress their guests, serving dishes like peacock tongues, honey-glazed dormice, and garum, a fermented fish sauce. Wine flowed freely, accompanied by performances from musicians, dancers, and poets. While overindulgence was certainly part of the experience, the Romans valued moderation, or at least the appearance of it. Philosophers like Seneca criticized excessive eating and drinking, arguing that true refinement lay in savoring quality over quantity. Even among the elite, repeated purging would have been seen as vulgar and undignified, reserved perhaps for only the most debauched individuals. It's worth noting that some Romans practiced medicinal vomiting, believing it helped cleanse the body or aid digestion. Physicians like Galen recommended induced vomiting as a treatment for certain ailments. However, this practice was unrelated to feasting and certainly didn't involve specialized rooms. How then did the myth of the vomitorium endure for centuries? The answer lies in our fascination with Roman excess and our tendency to misinterpret the past through modern lenses. During the Renaissance and Enlightenment periods, writers and artists often romanticized or caricatured ancient Rome, portraying it as a land of unparalleled luxury and hedonism. One notable contributor to the myth was the 19th century French writer Samuel de Champlain, who mistakenly translated vomitorium as a place for purging during meals. His error was widely accepted and perpetuated in literature, films, and popular culture. From Hollywood epics to satirical cartoons, the idea of vomitoriums became ingrained in the collective imagination, overshadowing their true architectural significance. Today, historians and archaeologists continue to debunk the myth, emphasizing the ingenuity of Roman architecture instead. The real vomitoriums remind us of the Romans' mastery of urban planning and crowd management. They reflect a society that valued accessibility, organization, and communal experiences, qualities that remain relevant in modern stadiums and theaters. Imagine yourself now seated in the Colosseum, surrounded by cheering spectators as gladiators clash below. Feel the cool breeze flowing through the vomitoria, guiding the ebb and flow of humanity. Let this vision guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that even misunderstandings can reveal hidden truths. And now, let this corrected chapter of history carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where facts and fables intertwine. Close your eyes and imagine a warm summer night, illuminated by flickering lanterns and the soft glow of incense. Across China and other parts of East Asia, this is the time of the Hungry Ghost Festival, a month-long observance when the gates between the living and the dead are said to open. During this period, restless spirits roam the earth, seeking sustenance, comfort, and sometimes vengeance. To appease these wandering souls, families leave offerings of food, paper money, and prayers, hoping to keep harm at bay. This festival reveals humanity's enduring relationship with the unseen world. It reminds us that even in our modern age, we still find ways to honor those who came before us and protect ourselves from their wrath. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we explore the rituals, beliefs, and meanings behind the Hungry Ghost Festival. The roots of the Hungry Ghost Festival stretch back thousands of years, intertwined with Buddhist, Taoist, and folk traditions. According to legend, during the 7th lunar month, known as Ghost Month, the gates of the underworld swing wide, releasing ghosts into the mortal realm. These spirits include ancestors who have been neglected or forgotten, as well as malevolent entities seeking revenge for wrongs done during their lifetimes. Hungry ghosts, in particular, are believed to be tormented beings with insatiable appetites, often depicted as emaciated figures with bloated stomachs and narrow necks. They are unable to consume enough to satisfy their cravings. Their suffering stems from unresolved grievances, improper burial rites, or lack of descendants to care for them after death. Without intervention, these spirits may lash out, causing illness, accidents, or misfortune among the living. To prevent such calamities, communities engage in elaborate rituals designed to honor, feed, and pacify these wandering souls. By showing respect and generosity, the living hope to turn potential enemies into benevolent protectors, or at least ensure they move on peacefully when the gates close again. One of the most iconic practices during the Hungry Ghost Festival is the preparation of lavish feasts. Streets and public spaces transform into temporary altars laden with dishes ranging from rice and fruit to roasted meats and sweet desserts. However, no one dares to eat from these meals. They are reserved exclusively for the spirits. Families also burn joss paper, mock currency made of bamboo or rice paper, as offerings to provide financial support in the afterlife. Modern versions of joss paper resemble everyday items like smartphones, cars, and designer clothing, reflecting the belief that material comforts can ease the transition for wandering souls. Firecrackers and incense play crucial roles too. Their smoke and sound are thought to ward off evil spirits while guiding ancestral ghosts safely home. Entertainment is another key element of the festival. Opera performances, puppet shows, and concerts are held outdoors, often facing empty rows of seats reserved for invisible spectators. These events not only entertain the spirits, but also serve as acts of gratitude and remembrance. Yet, attendees must observe strict rules. Sitting in the front row is forbidden, as it belongs to the ghosts themselves. While the festival aims to placate the spirits, it also acknowledges the darker side of their presence. Not all ghosts are content with simple offerings. Some harbor deep resentment or malice toward the living. To safeguard against these vengeful entities, people adopt various protective measures. For instance, swimming is strongly discouraged during Ghost Month, as water is believed to attract drowning victims turned malevolent spirits. Similarly, traveling at night, whistling, or calling out names in deserted areas are considered risky behaviors that might draw unwanted attention. Many avoid starting new projects, signing contracts, or holding weddings during this time, fearing bad luck brought by restless ghosts. Amulets, talismans, and charms inscribed with protective symbols are commonly worn or placed around homes and businesses. Monks and priests perform exorcisms and recite sutras to cleanse spaces of negative energies. Even seemingly mundane actions like leaving shoes neatly aligned or keeping doors closed carry symbolic weight in preventing unwelcome visitors from entering. At its heart, the Hungry Ghost Festival is less about fear and more about compassion. It encourages the living to reflect on their responsibilities to both the seen and unseen worlds. By caring for neglected spirits, individuals reaffirm their commitment to filial piety, a cornerstone of Chinese culture. The festival also serves as a reminder of life's impermanence. Just as the spirits once walked among the living, so too will we eventually join them. This awareness fosters humility and gratitude, urging us to cherish our relationships and lead virtuous lives. Imagine yourself now standing amidst the glow of lanterns, surrounded by the scent of burning incense and the murmur of whispered prayers. Feel the collective energy of a community united in reverence and caution. Let the rhythms of the Hungry Ghost Festival guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that even in moments of uncertainty, there lies the opportunity to connect with others, with ancestors, and with the mysteries of existence itself. And now, let this ancient tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where the past and present coexist in delicate harmony. Imagine a world where cats are not just pets, but sacred beings revered as divine protectors and symbols of grace, wisdom, and mystery. This was the reality in ancient Egypt, where felines held an exalted place in society. To harm a cat, even accidentally, was considered a grave offense, punishable by death. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we explore the profound bond between humans and cats in one of history's most fascinating civilizations. In ancient Egypt, cats were more than companions. They were embodiments of gods, guardians of households, and even protectors of the pharaohs. Their sleek forms and enigmatic nature inspired awe, while their practical role in controlling pests like rats and snakes earned them deep respect. These creatures bridged the earthly and spiritual realms, embodying both life-giving fertility and the power to ward off evil. At the heart of Egyptian cat worship stood Basti, the goddess of home, fertility, and protection, often depicted with the head of a lioness or domestic cat. Bastet represented the duality of feline nature, gentle yet fierce, nurturing yet untamed. She was believed to bring prosperity, safeguard families, and drive away disease and misfortune. Bastet's cult center was located in Bubastis, a city renowned for its grand temple dedicated to her. Pilgrims traveled from across Egypt to pay homage, leaving offerings such as gold jewelry, statues, and mummified cats. During festivals, thousands gathered to celebrate with music, dancing, and feasts, honoring the goddess who watched over their daily lives. One of Bastet's most important roles was protecting the home and ensuring the health of women and children. Women prayed to her for safe childbirth, while men sought her blessings for bountiful harvests and protection against malevolent spirits. Her presence was so integral that many households kept statues of Bastet near doorways or altars to invoke her favor. Cats weren't merely worshipped in temples. They were cherished members of everyday Egyptian life. They roamed freely through homes, farms, and granaries, earning gratitude for keeping vermin at bay. Killing a cat, whether intentionally or unintentionally, was seen as a violation of divine law. And if a cat died naturally, its owners would shave their eyebrows as a sign of mourning. When a beloved cat passed away, it was often mummified and buried with great care. Archaeologists have uncovered vast catacombs filled with millions of mummified cats, many adorned with intricate wrappings and placed alongside offerings of food and trinkets. Some were even buried wearing ornate collars embedded with precious stones, underscoring their elevated status. This reverence extended beyond individual households. Entire communities participated in rituals to honor cats, believing that their well-being was tied to the prosperity of the land. Pharaohs themselves kept cats as royal companions, associating their regal demeanor with the divine authority of the throne. To the Egyptians, cats symbolized far more than physical prowess or utility. Their keen senses, agility, and independence made them metaphors for balance and harmony, the very essence of Ma'at, the cosmic order upheld by the gods. Cats were seen as mediators between the mortal and spiritual worlds, capable of navigating both realms with ease. Ancient texts describe how cats played vital roles in mythology. For instance, during the nightly journey of Ra, the sun god, through the underworld, his daughter, Bastet, transformed into a fiery-eyed lioness to defend him against the serpent Apophis. Similarly, Sekhmet, another feline deity, wielded destructive power to punish humanity's sins before being appeased and becoming a healer. Through these stories, cats became synonymous with protection, justice, and renewal. The legacy of Egyptian cat worship endures to this day, influencing how we perceive felines in modern culture. From internet memes celebrating their antics to artistic depictions highlighting their elegance, cats continue to captivate us much as they did the ancient Egyptians. Yet, beneath our playful fascination lies a deeper truth. Cats remind us of the beauty and independence, the importance of guardianship, and the interconnectedness of all living things. They teach us to embrace both strength and gentleness, to find balance in our own lives just as they did in theirs. Imagine yourself now standing in an ancient Egyptian village watching sunlight dance on the Nile as cats lounge lazily in the shade. Feel the quiet confidence of Bastard's presence, guiding you toward peace and protection. Let the rhythms of this ancient tradition carry you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every creature holds a spark of the divine. And now, let this timeless reverence for cats carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where even the smallest beings can inspire greatness. Imagine standing before the towering gates of an ancient city, where colossal figures stand guard against unseen threats. These are the Shedu, mighty winged bulls with human faces, protectors of sacred spaces, and defenders of mortal realms. To the Babylonians, these awe-inspiring creatures were more than statues. They were living embodiments of divine power, tasked with keeping evil at bay. In this tale, we journey to Mesopotamia, a land rich with mythology and monumental architecture. Here, the Shedu served as both guardians and symbols of authority, their imposing forms welcoming allies while warning enemies. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we explore one of history's most enduring icons, the winged bull that bridged the earthly and the divine. The Shedu were hybrid beings, part animal, part human, and part god. Typically depicted as enormous bulls or lions with wings and human heads, they represented strength, wisdom, and protection. Their bodies symbolized raw physical power. Their wings evoked freedom and transcendence, and their human faces conveyed intelligence and spiritual insight. These majestic sculptures flanked the entrances to palaces, temples, and cities, serving as sentinels against malevolent forces. One of the most famous examples comes from the palace of King Sargon II in Dur-Sharrukin, modern-day Khorsabad, Iraq. Carved from limestone, these massive statues stood over 16 feet tall, their sheer size designed to inspire awe and reverence. The Shedu weren't merely decorative. They were believed to possess supernatural abilities. It was said that they could move freely between the mortal world and the realm of the gods, acting as intermediaries who ensured harmony between the two. By placing them at gateways, the Babylonians sought to harness their protective energy, creating a barrier against chaos and misfortune. To understand the significance of the Shedu, we must consider the challenges faced by ancient Mesopotamians. Living in a region prone to invasions, natural disasters, and disease, they relied heavily on divine intervention for safety and prosperity. The Shedu embodied this hope, offering a sense of security in uncertain times. Beyond their protective role, the Shedu also reflected the social hierarchy of Babylonian society. Only kings and high-ranking officials could commission such grand sculptures, underscoring their connection to the gods. The presence of a Shedu at a city's entrance signaled not only its defenses, but also its legitimacy and prosperity under divine favor. Interestingly, many Shedu had 5 legs rather than 4. This artistic choice allowed them to appear sturdy and immovable when viewed from the front, yet dynamic and lifelike when seen from the side. Such attention to detail highlights the craftsmanship and symbolism embedded in every aspect of their design. The Shedu didn't just protect physical structures. They safeguarded the sanctity of the spaces within. Temples dedicated to deities like Marduk, Ishtar, and Nabu often featured Shedu near their entrances, ensuring that only those pure of heart could enter. They acted as filters, separating the sacred from the profane and maintaining the integrity of holy sites. In addition to guarding temples, the Shedu played a vital role during rituals and ceremonies. Priests and worshippers believed that these creatures carried prayers to the heavens, amplifying their petitions to the gods. Offerings of incense, food, and precious goods were left near the statues, further reinforcing their status as conduits of divine communication. The Shedu remain iconic symbols of Mesopotamian culture, representing humanity's eternal quest for protection and guidance. Their hybrid nature reflects the blending of different aspects of existence: earthly strength, celestial grace, and intellectual discernment, all united in service of a greater purpose. Even today, echoes of the Shedu can be found in modern art, literature, and architecture, from gargoyles adorning Gothic cathedrals to statues of lions guarding public buildings. The legacy of these ancient guardians endures. They remind us that even in moments of vulnerability, there lies the opportunity to create barriers of beauty and resilience. Imagine yourself now standing before a pair of Shedu, their towering forms casting long shadows across the dusty ground. Feel the weight of centuries pressing gently upon you, carried forward by the silent testimony of countless generations. Let their presence guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every threshold holds the promise of safety and renewal. And now, let this timeless tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where art and faith intertwine in perfect harmony. Imagine a world where the boundaries between human and animal blur, where creatures with the bodies of men and the heads of dogs roam distant lands. These are the Cynocephali, a mythical race of dog-headed humans said to inhabit far-off regions beyond the known world. To the ancient Greeks, these beings were more than mere monsters. They embodied questions about humanity, culture, and what it truly means to be civilized. In this tale, we journey to the edges of the ancient Greek imagination, exploring the legends of the Cynocephali and their enduring legacy as symbols of otherness and curiosity. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we delve into one of history's most intriguing myths. The term Cynocephaly comes from the Greek words kainos, meaning dog, and kephale, meaning head. Descriptions of these creatures appear in early Greek accounts of exploration and travel literature, often referred to as ethnographies. Writers like Herodotus and later Pliny the Elder wrote about strange peoples inhabiting uncharted territories, among them the dog-headed humans. These accounts describe the Cynocephali as fierce yet intelligent beings capable of barking like dogs but also communicating through rudimentary speech. Some claimed they lived in caves or simple dwellings, subsisting on raw meat and wild fruits. Despite their fearsome appearance, they were not always portrayed as hostile. Some tales suggested they could coexist peacefully with neighboring tribes or even trade with outsiders. Their dual nature, as both predators and rational beings, made the Cynocephales fascinating subjects for philosophical debate. Were they closer to animals or humans? Could they possess souls or reason? Their existence challenged the Greeks' understanding of civilization itself. The origins of the Cynocephali likely stem from encounters with unfamiliar cultures during ancient explorations. Travelers returning from distant lands may have exaggerated descriptions of foreign customs, clothing, or physical traits, giving rise to fantastical interpretations. For example, warriors wearing animal skins or masks might have been mistaken for actual hybrid creatures. Beyond mere speculation, the Cynocephali served a deeper purpose in Greek thought. They represented the tension between the familiar and the alien, the civilized and the barbaric. By imagining such beings, the Greeks explored fundamental questions about identity. What sets us apart from animals? How do we define humanity? And how should we treat those who seem different from us? In Christian traditions, the Cynocephali took on new meanings. Medieval scholars debated whether these creatures had immortal souls, framing them within theological discussions about salvation and God's plan for creation. Augustine of Hippo argued that while the Cynocephali appeared monstrous, they were still part of the divine order and deserving of compassion, a reflection of humanity's duty to extend kindness even to the unknown. One famous account of the Cynocephali appears in the writings of Megasthenes, a Greek historian who traveled to India around 300 BCE. He described a tribe of dog-headed people living in the mountains, skilled in hunting and warfare. Though his reports mix fact and fiction, they highlight the Greeks' fascination with the exotic and the mysterious. Later, medieval maps depicted the Cynocephali alongside other mythical races, such as the Blemei, headless men with faces on their chests, and the Cyapods, one-legged beings who use their massive feet for shade. These illustrations underscored the belief that the world was vast and full of wonders waiting to be discovered or imagined. The Cynocephali remain powerful symbols of liminality, the space between categories. As hybrids of human and animal, they challenge our assumptions about intelligence, morality, and belonging. Their presence in mythology reminds us that the unknown often inspires both fear and wonder. In modern times, echoes of the Cynocephali persist in science fiction and fantasy, where humanoid aliens and mutants continue to explore themes of identity and acceptance. Like their ancient counterparts, these modern creations force us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our place in the universe. Imagine yourself now standing on the edge of an ancient map, gazing toward the horizon where the Cynocephali dwell. Feel the thrill of discovery mingled with the unease of encountering the unfamiliar. Let their story guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every legend holds a mirror to our own humanity. And now, let this timeless tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where curiosity bridges the gap between the known and the unknown. Imagine a realm beneath the earth, hidden from human sight, where ancient beings dwell in luminous caverns filled with treasures and mystical energy. These are the Nagas, half-human, half-serpent creatures who inhabit the subterranean depths of Hindu mythology. They are neither wholly benevolent nor entirely malevolent. Guardians of secrets, protectors of sacred spaces, and wielders of immense power. In this tale, we journey into the shadowy underworld of the Nagas, exploring their origins, roles, and enduring influence on Indian culture. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we uncover one of mythology's most enigmatic races. The Nagas are supernatural beings often depicted as having the upper body of a human and the lower body of a serpent. Their serpentine forms symbolize both danger and divinity, embodying the duality of creation and destruction. In Hindu cosmology, they are considered descendants of Kadru, the mother of all snakes, and are closely associated with water, fertility, and the life force itself. Their homes lie deep within the earth, in underground realms known as Patala or Nagaloka. These domains are described as opulent kingdoms filled with jewels, gold, and glowing rivers, far removed from the mortal world above. Here, the Nagas live in splendor, ruling over their territories with wisdom and authority. While some Nagas are revered as deities, others inspire fear due to their volatile nature. They possess incredible strength, magical abilities, and venom potent enough to kill or heal. This duality makes them complex figures, embodying both protection and peril, depending on how they are treated. The Nagas play significant roles in Hindu epics, such as the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. One prominent Naga is Shesha or Ananta, the thousand-headed serpent who serves as the bed for Lord Vishnu during cosmic dissolution. Shesha supports the universe upon his hoods, representing eternity and balance. His very existence underscores the importance of the Nagas in maintaining cosmic order. Another famous Naga is Vasuki, the Serpent King, who played a pivotal role in the churning of the ocean of milk, Samudra Manthan. During this event, Vasuki allowed the gods and demons to use his massive body as a rope to churn the ocean, demonstrating his willingness to aid divine purposes despite the strain it placed on him. Yet, even amidst cooperation, the Nagas' dual nature remains evident. They can be allies or adversaries depending on the circumstances. The Nagas also appear in folklore as protectors of sacred sites, including temples, wells, and rivers. Many Hindus believe that disturbing these places without proper reverence risks invoking the wrath of the Nagas, leading to misfortune or illness. To appease them, offerings such as milk, flowers, and incense are made at shrines dedicated to serpent deities. The Nagas' association with the underworld ties them to themes of mystery, transformation, and rebirth. As rulers of Patala, they oversee vast networks of tunnels, rivers, and caves that connect the earthly plane to deeper realms. These subterranean passages are said to hold untold riches, but they are also fraught with danger, guarded fiercely by the Nagas against intruders. Some myths suggest that the Nagas control hidden knowledge and spiritual truths, accessible only to those deemed worthy. Sages and ascetics who venture into their domains may receive blessings or curses based on their intentions. Thus, the Nagas act as gatekeepers, deciding who gains access to the mysteries of the universe. The symbolism of the Nagas extends beyond their physical form. Serpents have long been associated with cycles of renewal due to their ability to shed their skin. Similarly, the Nagas represent transformation, shedding old patterns and emerging anew. Their connection to water further emphasizes their role in sustaining life, as water is essential for growth and regeneration. In modern times, the legacy of the Nagas persists in various cultural practices. For instance, Naga Panchami, a festival celebrated across India, honors serpent deities through prayers, fasting, and offerings. Devotees seek the Nagas' blessings for prosperity, protection, and harmony. Even today, many farmers revere the Nagas, believing they ensure bountiful harvests by guarding the soil and water sources. Imagine yourself now descending into the glittering halls of Patala, surrounded by shimmering jewels and the soft glow of eternal lamps. Feel the coolness of the underground air and the quiet hum of ancient magic coursing through the walls. Let the presence of the Nagas guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that beneath our feet lies a world of wonder and wisdom. And now, let this timeless tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where serpents guard the thresholds of the seen and unseen. Close your eyes and imagine a creature so magnificent that it defies the boundaries of time and space. This is the Simurgh, a legendary bird from Persian mythology whose wings span the heavens and whose wisdom surpasses the ages. To those who seek guidance, the Simurgh represents hope, renewal, and the infinite possibilities of existence. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we explore one of history's most enduring symbols of transcendence. The Simurgh is more than just a mythical beast. It embodies the union of earthly and divine realms, a bridge between humanity and the cosmos. Its name means 30 birds in Middle Persian, reflecting its connection to unity and collective strength. As both protector and teacher, the Simurgh has inspired generations with tales of courage, sacrifice, and enlightenment. The Simurgh first appears in ancient Persian texts, including the Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, an epic poem written by Ferdowsi in the 10th century. Described as a colossal bird with shimmering feathers that glow like sunlight, the Simurgh lives atop the mythical mountain of Albers, far beyond the reach of ordinary mortals. Its appearance alone inspires awe. Its plumage glimmers with colors never seen on Earth, and its eyes hold the wisdom of centuries. Some accounts describe the Simurgh as having features of other animals, such as a lion's claws or a peacock's tail, symbolizing its role as a composite being that unites diverse elements of creation. The Simurgh's immortality grants it unparalleled insight into the workings of the universe. It serves as a guardian for lost travelers, a healer for the sick, and a mentor for heroes seeking truth. Yet, despite its power, the Simurgh remains elusive, appearing only to those deemed worthy of its aid. One of the most famous stories involving the Simurgh comes from the Shahnameh. In this tale, the hero Zal, a prince abandoned at birth due to his albino appearance, is raised by the Simurgh. After being left in the wilderness, the bird takes pity on the infant, feeding him with her own milk and teaching him survival skills. When Zal grows older and returns to human society, he faces a crisis. His wife Rudaba nearly dies during childbirth. Remembering the Simurgh's teachings, Zal calls upon the bird for help. The Simurgh descends from the sky instructing Zal on how to perform a cesarean section using a special feather imbued with magical properties. Thanks to the Simurgh's intervention, Zal saves both Rudaba and their son Rostam, who becomes one of Persia's greatest heroes. This story highlights the Simurgh's dual roles as nurturer and savior. By guiding Zal through adversity, the bird demonstrates the importance of compassion, knowledge, and perseverance. It also reinforces the idea that even the mightiest beings are willing to assist those in need if they prove themselves deserving. The Simurgh carries deep symbolic meaning in Persian culture. As a representation of divine wisdom, it reminds us that true understanding often requires patience and humility. Its association with healing and protection reflects humanity's desire for comfort in times of uncertainty. The number 30 in its name holds mystical significance, suggesting completeness and wholeness. Additionally, the Simurgh's ability to regenerate itself ties it to themes of renewal and rebirth. According to some legends, the bird plunges into a fiery lake every 1,000 years, emerging stronger and more radiant than before, a metaphor for overcoming trials and emerging transformed. In Sufi mysticism, the Simurgh becomes a powerful allegory for spiritual awakening. One of the most celebrated works of Persian literature, The Conference of the Birds by Attar of Nishapur, tells the story of 30 birds, Simurgh, embarking on a perilous journey to find the Simurgh. After enduring countless hardships, they realized that the Simurgh resided within themselves. Their quest was ultimately a search for inner divinity. This transformative message continues to resonate across cultures and faiths. Imagine yourself now standing beneath the towering peaks of Mount Albers, gazing upward at the silhouette of the Simurgh against the golden dawn. Feel the rush of wind created by its mighty wings, carrying whispers of ancient secrets and timeless truths. Let its presence guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that every challenge holds the potential for growth and enlightenment. And now, let this immortal bird carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where wisdom and wonder intertwine seamlessly. Close your eyes and imagine a quiet home where the faint sound of rustling hay or the creak of wooden beams might be mistaken for the wind. But in Slavic folklore, these subtle noises are often attributed to the Domovoi, a household spirit who watches over families with both care and caution. This invisible guardian is neither human nor beast, but a mystical being tied to the heart of the home, ensuring its prosperity or punishing neglect. In this tale, we journey into the hearths and barns of Eastern Europe, exploring the legends of the Domovoi. These spirits embody the connection between people and their dwellings, serving as protectors, advisors, and sometimes enforcers of moral behavior. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we uncover one of history's most cherished traditions: the bond between humans and their unseen helpers. The Domovoi is a benevolent yet demanding spirit, believed to reside in every home. Often depicted as a small, bearded old man with glowing eyes, he is said to live in hidden corners of the house, under the stove, behind the oven, or in the attic. Though rarely seen, his presence is felt through signs and omens, such as misplaced items returning to their rightful places, or the comforting warmth of a well-tended fire on cold nights. Each Domovoi is unique to a family, often taking on characteristics of the household's ancestors. Some believe they are the spirits of deceased relatives who choose to remain close to their loved ones, while others see them as ancient beings that adopt homes like guardians adopting wards. Regardless of origin, the Domovoi's role is clear: to safeguard the household and ensure harmony among its inhabitants. When treated with respect, the Domovoi becomes an invaluable ally, protecting livestock, guiding crops to flourish, and even warning of impending danger. However, if offended or ignored, he can turn mischievous, or worse, vengeful, causing chaos until proper amends are made. To keep the Domovoi content, families followed specific customs passed down through generations. Offerings of bread, milk, or salt were left near the stove or hearth, especially during festivals or seasonal changes. These gifts were tokens of gratitude, acknowledging the spirit's efforts in maintaining order and abundance within the home. Families also avoided actions that might anger the Domovoi, such as whistling indoors, which could summon unwanted spirits, or leaving tools scattered about, a sign of laziness. Cleanliness and hospitality were highly valued, as the Domovoi took pride in a tidy, welcoming home. In return, he rewarded his hosts with blessings of good fortune and protection from harm. One common belief was that the Domovoi communicated through dreams. If a family member dreamed of an old man offering advice or issuing warnings, it was interpreted as a message from the spirit. Ignoring these dreams risked inviting trouble, as the Domovoi expected his counsel to be heeded. While the Domovoi preferred to remain unseen, his influence manifested in various ways. Strange sounds, such as soft footsteps or the clinking of dishes, signaled his movement throughout the house. Pets, particularly cats, were thought to sense him more acutely. Their sudden alertness or playful behavior often indicated his proximity. Positive signs included finding lost items, unexpectedly returned, hearing faint laughter when no one else was around, or noticing livestock thriving despite challenging conditions. Conversely, negative omens, like broken tools, spoiled food, or restless animals, warned of the Domovoi's displeasure. Such occurrences prompted swift apologies and renewed offerings to restore balance. The Domovoi represents far more than superstition. He embodies the deep connection between people and their homes. To the Slavs, a house was not merely a structure, but a living entity, pulsing with energy and memory. The Domovoi served as its soul, bridging the material world with the spiritual. Even today, echoes of the Domovoi persist in modern culture. In rural areas of Eastern Europe, some still leave offerings for household spirits, preserving age-old traditions. Beyond folklore, the Domovoi reminds us of the importance of respecting our surroundings and nurturing the spaces we inhabit. He teaches us that care and attention create harmony, not just in our homes, but in our lives. Imagine yourself now standing in a cozy cottage, the scent of fresh bread wafting through the air, and the crackle of a warm fire filling the room. Feel the protective presence of the Domovoi, watching over you and your loved ones. Let his quiet wisdom guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that even in silence, there lies strength and comfort. And now, let this timeless tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where the unseen holds profound meaning. Close your eyes and imagine a moonlit night in ancient China, where shadows stretch long across misty fields. Suddenly, you hear it, a rhythmic thud, thud, thud. Out of the darkness emerges a figure with outstretched arms, stiff legs, and glowing eyes. This is the Jiangshi, a reanimated corpse that hops through the night, seeking to drain the life force of the living. Part zombie, part vampire, this chilling entity blends fear and folklore into one of China's most enduring legends. In this tale, we journey into the supernatural world of the Jiangshi, exploring its origins, behaviors, and cultural significance. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we uncover the mysteries behind one of history's most fascinating and terrifying creatures. The Jiangshi, often translated as hopping vampire or stiff corpse, is a unique blend of undead horror and Taoist mysticism. Unlike Western vampires, which are sleek and seductive, the Jiangshi is grotesque and unnerving. It moves by hopping stiffly, arms outstretched, driven by an insatiable hunger for qi, the vital life force that sustains all living beings. These creatures typically arise when a corpse is improperly buried, disturbed, or subjected to malevolent forces, such as dark magic or restless spirits. In some tales, they are created when a person dies under violent or unnatural circumstances, leaving their spirit unable to move on. Without proper rituals to guide them to the afterlife, these lost souls become trapped in their decaying bodies, transforming into Jiangshi. As time passes, the Jiangshi grows stronger, feeding on the qi of victims until it becomes nearly unstoppable. Its skin turns green or white, its nails grow long and sharp, and it gains supernatural abilities like shape-shifting or teleportation. Despite its fearsome reputation, however, the Jiangshi is not invincible. It can be defeated with specific talismans, chants, or weapons wielded by skilled Taoist priests. The roots of the Jiangshi myth lie in ancient Chinese burial practices and beliefs about death. Proper funerary rites were considered essential to ensuring a peaceful transition to the afterlife. If these rituals were neglected, or if external factors interfered, the deceased might return as a Jiangshi, bringing misfortune to those left behind. One theory suggests that the Jiangshi's characteristic hopping motion stems from real-life practices during funerals. In rural areas, corpses were sometimes transported upright over long distance using bamboo poles slung between two men. The rhythmic bouncing of the body mimicked the Jiangshi's stiff-legged gait, inspiring eerie tales among villagers who witnessed these processions at night. Taoist priests played a central role in combating Jiangshi, employing sacred texts, mirrors, and charms to ward off evil spirits. They also performed exorcisms, reciting incantations to subdue the creature and restore balance to the natural order. These stories highlight the importance of spiritual expertise in protecting communities from supernatural threats. While the Jiangshi is formidable, it has distinct weaknesses that make it vulnerable. For instance, it cannot cross running water, making rivers and streams effective barriers against its advance. Garlic, glutinous rice, and certain metals, like copper coins engraved with protective symbols, are believed to repel the creature. Additionally, the Jiangshi is highly sensitive to sunlight, retreating to dark places during the day to avoid destruction. One of the most common methods of defeating a Jiangshi involves trapping it in a coffin or sealing it within salt, which disrupts its connection to the physical world. Another tactic is to paste yellow paper talismans inscribed with magical characters onto the creature's forehead, immobilizing it until dawn. At sunrise, the Jiangshi disintegrates, its malevolent essence finally laid to rest. The Jiangshi serves as more than just a monster. It embodies fears surrounding death, decay, and the unknown. Its existence reflects the delicate balance between life and death, reminding us of the importance of respecting ancestors and adhering to traditional customs. Failure to do so risks inviting chaos into our lives. In modern times, the Jiangshi has become a pop culture icon, appearing in films, television shows, and literature worldwide. Hong Kong cinema, in particular, popularized the hopping vampire trope in classic movies like Mr. Vampire, blending humor and horror to create a uniquely Asian take on the undead genre. Yet, even in these light-hearted portrayals, the underlying themes of respect for tradition and vigilance against danger remain intact. Imagine yourself now walking through a quiet village bathed in silver moonlight, the air thick with anticipation. Feel the chill of the Jiangshi's presence as it shuffles closer, drawn by the warmth of your life force. Let its legend guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that even in the darkest nights there lies the promise of protection and renewal. And now, let this timeless tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where the boundary between life and death holds endless mysteries. Close your eyes and imagine a moonlit forest bathed in silver light, where shadows dance between the trees. Among these shadows who's a creature both cunning and wise, the Kitsune, or fox spirit. These mystical beings are central to Japanese folklore, capable of shape-shifting, trickery, and even acts of great kindness. They embody the duality of mischief and benevolence, serving as guardians, messengers, and sometimes troublemakers. In this tale, we journey into the enchanted world of the Kitsune, exploring their origins, powers, and cultural significance. Let this story guide you into relaxation as we uncover one of Japan's most enduring legends. Beings who blur the line between human and animal, mortal and divine. The Kitsune are magical fox spirits said to possess extraordinary intelligence, longevity, and supernatural abilities. Over time, they grow more powerful, gaining additional tails until they reach 9, the mark of a fully realized Kitsune. A 9-tailed fox is considered nearly godlike, wielding immense wisdom and control over natural forces. Kitsune are often associated with Inari, the Shinto deity of rice, agriculture, and prosperity. As Inari's messengers, they guard shrines and act as intermediaries between humans and the divine. Statues of foxes flanking the entrances of Inari shrines symbolize their protective role, holding objects like keys or jewels that represent their spiritual authority. While many Kitsune are benevolent, others are mischievous or even malevolent. Their behavior depends on their nature. Zenko, good foxes, align themselves with Inari and use their powers for good, while Yako, wild foxes, delight in playing tricks on unsuspecting humans. Some tales describe them as vengeful spirits, seeking retribution for wrongs done to them or their kin. One of the Kitsune's most famous abilities is shape-shifting. After living for hundreds of years, they gain the power to transform into human form, often appearing as beautiful women or elderly sages. However, subtle clues may betray their true identity, such as fox-like ears hidden beneath their hair or a tail accidentally revealed during movement. Beyond shape-shifting, Kitsune wield a variety of magical skills. They can create illusions, manipulate fire or lightning, and cast enchantments that bewilder or deceive. One common motif in folklore involves Kitsune using foxfire, mysterious glowing lights to lead travelers astray or signal warnings. Others tell of Kitsune possessing humans, entering through dreams or moments of vulnerability to influence thoughts and actions. Despite their formidable powers, Kitsune have weaknesses. They fear dogs, iron, and certain charms designed to repel spirits. Additionally, Their transformations require concentration. If startled or distracted, they risk revealing their true form. The kitsune's dual nature reflects humanity's own complexities. On one hand, they are revered as protectors and bringers of fortune. Farmers pray to them for bountiful harvests. Merchants seek their blessings for success, and families leave offerings at Inari shrines to ensure their favor. On the other hand, kitsune are notorious tricksters. Stories abound of them stealing food, impersonating loved ones, or causing chaos for amusement. Yet even their pranks carry lessons about humility, respect, and caution. For example, a farmer who neglects proper rituals might find his crops failing due to a kitsune's ire, prompting him to mend his ways. The kitsune holds deep symbolic meaning in Japanese culture. As creatures of transformation, they represent adaptability and resilience, the ability to navigate change while retaining one's essence. Their connection to Inari ties them to themes of abundance, fertility, and harmony with nature. In modern times, the kitsune continues to captivate imaginations worldwide. From anime and manga to video games and literature, these enigmatic beings appear across media, blending ancient mystique with contemporary storytelling. Even today, sightings of kitsune are reported in rural areas, reminding us of the enduring power of myth. Imagine yourself now walking through an ancient Japanese village, the air crisp with autumn leaves underfoot. Feel the presence of a kitsune nearby, its golden eyes glinting in the moonlight. Let its duality guide you deeper into relaxation, cradled by the knowledge that life itself is a balance of light and shadow, mischief and grace. And now, let this timeless tradition carry you toward restful slumber, wrapped in the embrace of a world where magic lingers just beyond the edge of sight.